Hey everyone, it's Ashley Joyce, Event Director at Marketing Showcase. Thanks for watching one of our recordings from Marketing Showcase Online. I really hope you enjoy it, and hopefully I'll see you at another one soon.
Just want to start by saying good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ashley Joyce, and I am coming to you live from my house in Brighton today. So my job at dotdigital, I head up the customer success team, which means that I look after the overall strategy and operations of the department. And me and my team are responsible for the overall success and happiness of all of our clients. So today we're going to be looking at going beyond email and 3 things you can do to move towards omnichannel excellence. And as I said, hopefully you'll see it's a lot easier than maybe you first thought. So start by just giving you a little bit of background on dotdigital. So we are an omnichannel marketing solution. Our core user base are marketers, just like you guys, and the speed and ease of use are at the heart of what we do. So our platform helps to simplify things like omnichannel marketing, and our platform helps you to reach your goals faster as well. And how we do that, we connect with all of your various different data sources. We allow you to interrogate and analyze that data. So segment on it, create customer profiles, automate, and then most importantly, we allow you to take action on it. And you can do that using all of these different channels at the bottom there. So email, SMS, social, ads, mobile, web, and chat. And then fundamentally, allow you to report on everything that you guys do as well, so you can see what's working and what isn't. We do that for over 4,000 customers worldwide across a variety of different sectors. So e-commerce, charities, not-for-profits, education, finance, even B2B companies as well. So yes, it is possible to have an omnichannel strategy and be a B2B company. What's really great is that our customers have voted us as leader in G2 Marketing Automation Grid Report, a category that we've been leaders in for the past 12 months. And last year, we were announced as a strong performer in the Forrester Email Marketing Wave, an accolade we're hoping to replicate again this year. But enough about us. Let's move on to why we are here. So what is omni-channel marketing? So omnichannel marketing has been floating around the marketing landscape for a few years now and is finally settling in as an accepted term. But whether it's understood or not is a different question. So to answer that, I wanted to break down some marketing buzzwords by answering another burning question: what is it that I do? What is it that my organization does? Now, whenever anyone asks me that question, I always find it quite difficult to answer. But also to make it sound impressive. So I might start by saying, well, you know, those emails and those communications that you get from, you know, Topshop or H&M or those brands that you've signed up for. Often or not, people say, oh, what, you mean that's spam? And I go, well, not quite. So I thought I would try a different approach. And this might be something they'll either get or their eyes will glaze over and they won't ask me any more about it. Now, bear with me because this will definitely help me to explain omnichannel marketing. So big data-driven, hyper-personalized, omnichannel, contextual customer experiences delivered by cloud-based marketing automation solutions. Right, that sounds simple, doesn't it? Now, the challenge that we have is that the hype in this industry is telling us that this is what we have to be. But I don't know about you guys, mostly we just hear blah, 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 customer, blah, delivered by, blah, blah, blah solutions. But for those of you playing buzzword bingo, I think you may have just won. But we can break this down, this paragraph down into its component parts. But first, let's talk about the word omnichannel itself. So omni comes from the Latin root omnis and means all. And you may see it in many English words like omnipotent, which means all powerful. So in theory, omnichannel would mean all channels. But let's face it, most of us do not have big marketing departments that can support every single channel. I mean, when was the last time you briefed your agency on your next skywriting campaign? But you may be doing or could be using a few other different channels in unison. So in effect, omnichannel could mean multiple channels. So let's do a bit of buzzword busting. So from those of you that come from a direct marketing background will recognize that the omni-channel customer experiences is just terminology for the right message. And most importantly, the right channel. And there is a right channel for everyone as well. As we engage with many different channels, everyone prefers using different channels. The big data driven hyper personalized section is really just right person. Just using data to identify the right person. And marketing automation is really just about delivering it at the right time. And by right time, I don't mean, time of day, but I'm talking about the stage in which they are in your customer journey or life cycle. Now, the good news about all of this is that it aligns perfectly with what your customers want. So if we go back to what is omnichannel, it's delivering the right message to the right person at the right time and the right channel, on the right channel. But it's also more than that, slightly more than that. Omnichannel takes on an integrated approach to marketing, sales, and operations. So that means that data flows freely through your business and all of the online and offline systems that are connected. So it means that consumers can shop across multiple channels and devices while experiencing a unified customer journey with a brand. So, is omnichannel the same as multi-channel? No. Multi-channel is when businesses use different channels to communicate with their customers, but they're managed separately. So data doesn't flow between them, which means customers aren't free to move from one channel to the next. Features of multi-channel marketing often include channels operating largely in isolation, or if the customer information is stored in silos. So again, if we break that down, the kind of key difference here between multi-channel and omni-channel is really about that consistency. And in order to achieve that consistency, it's all about the data that you have and using it in the right way. So why is omnichannel so important? Why is it such a big buzzword, and why are we all striving to do it? Why are you all here today? So companies with omnichannel engagement strategies retain on average 89% of their customers, compared to 33% for companies with weak omnichannel strategies. What's more is that according to Google, the lifetime value of an omnichannel shopper is 30% higher than that of a regular customer. So what we're seeing here is a change in behavior. Customers' expectations are heightened. We all want it to be easier to talk to the brands we want to talk to. Think about every time you just want to talk to a person and you can't find the number on the site, just pick up the phone. Those days should be a thing of the past. You should have multiple ways in which your customers can reach out to your brand. And the process of serving a customer has a new set of expectations, especially in the past year when everything moved online. Consumer habits have changed and how they communicate has changed even more. And here you'll just see an example of a customer life cycle, and just see how many different touch points there can be from the start of a customer journey to the end. And everyone's journey is different, right? You may, it's not a linear journey. You don't just start here and then end here. Everyone starts at different points, and there's various different things. So, for you guys, you've got a really difficult challenge. It's a big task. So in this example here, you can see that the pink icons represent the data that you hold on a customer. The greens represent the different channels that someone can be communicated on. And the blues represent the way in which you can tailor the content to the customer. So I'm going to break that down to 3 easy steps. 3 steps to mastering omnichannel. Step 1, organize your data. 2, define your channels. And 3, personalize your message or tailor your content. I'm going to go into a bit more detail about how you guys can do that now. So step 1, it's unsurprising that this is number 1, to be honest. Data is key to most strategies, and omnichannel is no different. So web tracking, online data, offline data, preferences, and demographics all need to be managed. Essentially we're looking for a single customer view, grouping everything together in one place. And again, single customer view is a term that can mean different things as well. But ultimately, we're looking for all data to sit in one place so that we can actually then look at it in more detail. So the good news is that the data about your customers is collected from many different sources. So email, website, social media, call centers, mobile app, point of sale, so on. Each of these channels or touch points collects a jigsaw piece of intelligence that can help your business learn more about your customers' behavior, profile, and preferences, which can then lead to more relevance. So here's what a sort of good typical data flow should look like. Set you up into good stead to achieving omnichannel excellence. And in fact, this is a lot easier than it may look. I hope it doesn't look too daunting, but effectively, if we break this down, on the left-hand side here, we've got all the data. We've then got the ability to interrogate that data. The orangey yellow stuff in the middle is all the clever stuff that you can do with it. So you can segment, look at different profiles, create predictive analytics. And then finally, on the right-hand side is the output. So that's the action that you want to take. And that can be pushed out ad hoc, or it can be automated. And the good news is, the Digital Engagement Cloud platform does all this for you. So once you have your data in play, you understand how things are going to link together, then you want to know what channels beyond email you want to have in play. So quick stat here, 75% of Gen Z selected a mobile phone or smartphone as the device they use most. As a side note, 11% said they would like to receive messages via different channels. So having an omnichannel strategy would cater for this. So one of the key things Gen Z like to do is shop online. Where they get their money from, I've no idea, but that's not the point. The point is that this is an emerging market for you guys. For B2C, it's huge, but for B2B, you'll need to think about how your future contacts will be digesting your communications. So UK consumers check their phones 91 times per day. Okay? And the messaging landscape is changing all the time. So the average customer communicates on 10 different channels. And if I think about how me and my friends interact with each other on messaging channels, we may see something on Instagram, we then might share it via WhatsApp, and then sort of carry on the conversation there. So we spend a lot of our time on our phones, and a lot of it is messaging. So Facebook, WeChat, and WhatsApp have over 1 billion active users, right? A2P, application to person market, is growing massively. And you can now even get notification reminders from e-com platforms with business critical messages, because they know that they're choosing the channel that they know is going to get really great engagement. So the lines between even B2C and B2B are blurring into one as well. Another great example of this is how brands are using WhatsApp for their support function. I've used one recently with Bose headphones and speakers. They've got a WhatsApp support function on there, and it's really easy to get to engage in a brand and to get answers immediately. There's been a prolific rise in live chat as well, and as we become more digital, we lose that personal touch. So we don't have a shop assistant to talk to. So live chat provides that conduit to connect us back to our customers and to help us make that buying decision. So not just help with supporting something post-purchase, but also helping that person throughout the purchase process. And live chat became huge this past year, as people couldn't go in store, but still wanted to chat. They still wanted that interactive experience. So a lot of brands took the people who are usually working in store and had them on live chat assisting customers. Also, a lot of smart speakers sold as well, which creates a completely different channel in which we can connect with more people. It's just growing and growing. There's just more and more ways we can communicate. So just think about what other channels that you guys could be communicating with your customers on, and how you can help enhance that process and that experience. Also think about how that message will translate on those different channels as well. You don't need to be sending the same person exactly the same message on those channels. Pick the right channel for the right person and make sure that message is right for that. So simple place here would be to start with SMS. Okay, really effective channel, but simple and easy to set up. And we're seeing a huge increase in the number of clients wanting to add SMS to their channel stack. Move on to email here, where we've got simple notification, but again, messages is the same but slightly different. We've got the ability to add pictures here, to really tailor that messaging. Push notification, again, very simple, straight to the point. We're trying to get people to take an action. And then finally, something like chat, opens up the opportunity for more back and forth engagement. So think about how that can work for your brand. And finally, step 3 is all about tailoring your content and your channels. So tailoring the content to your channels. So as I mentioned before, simply using other channels isn't enough. The messaging has got to match that. So your customers are all unique. They may fall into wider categories that you create, but they're all unique, and they want you to recognize them as such, as an individual. The data that you collect on them and the channels that you're comfortable you can deliver a holistic and fully integrated journey on now need to come to life. So there was a recent DMA survey conducted that asked, if you were able to manage the communications you receive from brands, shops or sites, which of the following options would you choose? 36% said reduce the frequency. Okay, that's fair enough. 31% said that they only want to receive emails about specific products or services. 26% just said unsubscribe. But 25% said personalize the emails they receive. Now, of this list, you could argue that all 4 could be managed by keeping on top of what the individual wants. So pay attention to them and make each campaign about them. And to use a cooking analogy, the recipe to success is all about blending your different channels, not sending the same message every single time. An example here from Netflix, okay, an example of what not to do. So what they've done here essentially is send the exact same message on all 3 channels: email, push, and WhatsApp. So the idea is there, but the execution needs to be a bit better. It's unnecessary, and arguably it's a waste of money as well. The only way this would be the correct way to go is if you were sending this message based on, if they were sending this message based on the level of engagement they were seeing on these channels. So for example, if someone hadn't opened any of your emails for the past year, then you'd want to try that message on a different channel to make sure that they see it, and then to gauge which one that person prefers to engage with. Another great type of content, product recs. They're a really simple and effective way to deliver a personalized message. So machine learning can do things. You can find customers who bought the highest value item in the customer's cart and then recommend the most popular items that the other customers have also bought. And there are thousands of different rules for engaging people wherever they are in the customer journey. A really simple example here from Nike, they're showing recommendations of similar trainers on the product page. Here's some other examples, more details from Feel Unique, an email example using data to preempt when a product will run out and serving up a replenishment email. Now, there's also an option to snooze this back if the time isn't quite right. And then on the right, making it super easy again to buy the products that they like from you. So again, what this example shows is just a really effective way of using data, sending a message in the right channel, but making the content really, really relevant to that individual. So I've covered a lot today in probably such a short space of time as well. So I'm just going to quickly summarize for everyone. There are 3 steps to mastering Omnichannel. The first, it's all about organizing your data. 2, define your channels. And number 3, tailor your content. And those are the 3 takeaways. Obviously, you'll need to have you'll need like technology and process to help you with this. But fundamentally, this is the best way to start. And as marketers, we need to bear in mind that if we work really hard to drive traffic to our sites and then convert people. We don't want to lose customers after the first interaction or purchase with us. So post-sale and customer experience really need to be thought about. And the digital landscape is ever growing. So omnichannel really is critical for success. And that's everything from me today. I just want to say a massive thank you for your time, and I hope you've enjoyed everything. If you do want to reach out to look at have a demo of the dotdigital platform, then there's a link there, and you can also scan the QR code as well, and that should take you right to the page.
Ashley, you're a superstar. That was awesome. Thank you very much for a comprehensive presentation. Tell you what, before you just close down, leave your slides up there, just in case anyone does want to scan that QR code. Look, and the great thing about having Ashley speaking is when everyone says, thanks, Ashley, that was awesome, I can take it as compliments for me. So that's brilliant. Before we get into, there's a couple of questions that have come in. I'm just launching a poll on your guys' behalf. dotdigital have asked me to run this poll to kind of understand what channels you guys are using in your marketing. So please, the poll should have popped up, and I want to see all of you guys answering there. Other than email, what is the most used channel in your marketing? And the options are there, from SMS, social, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that should be enough time also with your slides up. Let's pop back to gallery view as we have a Q&A. If you could just stop sharing your slides for me, Ashley, that would be great. Thank you very much. Okay, now this is a great question that comes from Lynn to kick things off. And she's asked, is there a minimum size limit for companies to benefit from omnichannel? Does the apparent complexity mitigate against for some smaller companies?
It's a very good question, a very long question. I think it all comes down to, like you say, the customer base and I guess the data that you have as well. If you don't have a lot of data on your customers, then arguably the amount of effort and time that you put into that compared to the output or the effects and benefits that you'll have, there probably is a false economy at some point. But I think, to think that we're all on one channel now, I think we all want to be communicating on one channel, I think is short-sighted. Think about how, we engage with things in our personal life. I think now more than ever in this past year, there are, the kind of lines between, personal and professional have blurred so much, where we're all working from our homes these days. So I think, there's always going to be a level of benefit involved in communicating with people on other channels. I don't know if that answers the
I think it does. I think for me, we run a small business and it's a time thing more than anything. So if there's, of course, we want to aim to be omni-channel, but at the end of the day, in terms of my resource within the business, I have to prioritize the channels that I see the most sort of engagement and do those well. So, if there is software out there, which I'm assuming you guys are pretty well placed to kind of talk about, that can make that easy for me, then that's a win-win.
That's a very good point. And just to add that as well, I think you're right. Omnichannel doesn't need to mean all channels, as I mentioned. It can literally be one or two. It's just about how those channels work together and how they work. And like you say, there are tools and platforms, including dotdigital, but others out there as well that can really help you with that. And you need technology to help you guys achieve these things. It's a little bit of effort to put in to start with, but the great thing about this is a lot of these can be automated. So once it is set up, it should just flow with a few tweaks.
Great, thank you very much. Good comment. Henry asked at the start of your presentation, when you started talking about dotdigital and you were mentioning mobile, do you mean app integration as well and push notifications within apps?
Yes, that is correct.
Well, that leads me really nicely into also kind of the results of our poll as we're going on. And I think this is really interesting. So as it's kind of ticking away, there are more people to answer, but 84% have said their most used channel in marketing is social. Now, I read that at first and was like, really? That's incredibly strong. But then, that is genuinely, apart from email, probably what the consumer uses most of the time, right?
Yeah.
So that would make sense.
It's a really effective channel for marketers to use as well, don't forget, because actually a lot of with social ads is, you know, a lot of it's the acquisition part of the life cycle, right? So actually you can target a hell of a lot of people without, you know, knowing who they are essentially, right? So if we think about how that might work in the life cycle, and let's use email alongside that as well. Someone's disengaged from your email communications or any other communications, you know, you can still make sure that your brand message is seen and heard through, by someone through social channels, right? And actually, you're right, as you know, social probably is the most used channel that all of us use, regardless of, you know, what career we're in or what other devices we have as well. So yeah, that makes sense to me. Actually, I'm not surprised to hear that.
Great. So moving on to our next couple of questions, we've got a bit of time just to answer these ones, so I'll try and bash through them. So this is a good one from Tanya that's asking about encouraging customers to shift channel to new channels. The way I read it, just to give some context, whether I read it right or not, is, you know, if I say, okay, I want to smash things on TikTok, that's an emerging channel for me. It's or I want to shift my customers from coming from email to social. How do we start to encourage that?
I don't know if you can, to be honest. I mean, don't lie, you can, I think, but I think it's more about looking at what channels your customers are on and then tailoring. It's much easier to tailor, you know, your brand message and for you to follow and, you know, have a presence on the channels that your customers are having. But, you know, if you did want to, you know, maybe try and shift the mindset or try and shift people onto different channels, I think it's really important to offer something different on each of those channels. You know, if you can get the same thing from email as you can from, you know, TikTok, Instagram, whatever it is, then there's really no incentive to move over to that channel. But if you've got something exclusive on every channel, then one of those things is going to appeal more to different people. So in effect, yeah, it's all about offering different value on each of those channels.
Ashley, on that point, do you see clients in your role, do you see clients chasing the next emerging channel rather than, as you quite rightly said in that point, finding out where your customers are, be it direct mail? If your customers are responding to direct mail, but you're like, no, I've got to get on WhatsApp, I've got to start doing all this, but actually they're all sitting there ready to read your next mailer. Do you see that a lot in your role, and how do you kind of advise on that?
Good question. I think most marketers are time poor, right? So I think actually it's more about how do we help marketers, open up different channels, and just try and, like I say, start small and scale up. Because I think you're right. A lot of people are thinking, God, there's so much to do, so little time. Like, where do I start? You know, like I say, it's a beast. It can be a beast. So more often than not, what we're helping clients with is just, you know, showcasing how they can start small with different channels. But yeah, no, I mean, the reporting and analytics function that most people have and, you know, should have available to them would really help with that. And if you don't have that available, then yeah, that can be quite daunting and you're kind of going in blind. But always look at the data, look at the analytics, and just look at what that's telling you.
Have you got the Q&A up by any chance?
No, no.
Because you've literally just, the next question that's come in says, what's the best way to report on Omnichannel to know what works best? So I didn't know whether you just created a beautiful segue.
No, just natural segue. What an Omnichannel? That is a very good question. I mean, it depends. I mean, it's not to cop out. It depends on what metrics you start by reporting on, right? I think active users is a really good one. I mean, your engagement rates, like opens, clicks, things like that, are really important as well. Yeah, I think this is quite a difficult thing to do as well, but there are some platforms out there that you can monitor and measure the shift, so you can see how and where people are moving to and from, not just from a channel perspective, but also from a segment. So if you're creating segments around your customers, you know, let's just use like RFM, for example. If you've got some, recency, frequency, monetary segments to showcase who your most loyal customers are, who your champions are, who your active users are, right the way down to people that are lapsing. And if you can see the shift in movement, on the incline to those things, and that's a really good way of reporting, because then it's working. It's not just about number of opens, number of clicks and revenue. It's showcasing how the affinity that people have to your brand, and the fact that that's moving in a positive light.
Yeah, great. And just to add my little side bit to that point, I think also having some insight of what powerful software can do, often it's just having that bit of kit that tells you that. I can imagine sitting in my seat and my desk doing my marketing stuff and going to every channel to get reports on how that's working, that's working, then building a spreadsheet to say this is, and that's difficult. That's really difficult. Tough. So,
yeah.
I know there are platforms, and I'm trying to be as agnostic as possible.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But, it's just that bit of software that makes it easy for you guys and takes the legwork out off of doing that.
And that's it. Like I say, no matter which technology or which technology you're using, make sure that is working hard for you. Make sure that those tools are doing the legwork, and they are giving you that information. Like you say, these tools, they hold so much data, so much information, but actually, that information arguably doesn't mean anything unless we can bring it to life. And like I say, to be completely agnostic, you must know that we can do that, otherwise we wouldn't be talking about it. But there are thousands of platforms out there, so it's a tough job. It's that's one of the challenges that we see with customers, is there's so much that can be done. It's where do we start? And often enough, it's just breaking it down, looking at what your priorities are, where your biggest gaps are, or where the biggest challenges are that you've got at the moment, and just plugging those to start with, and just making a priority list. You've got to start somewhere.
Okay, great. And we have gone over time, so I apologise for your time, Ashley, and anyone that's kind of in watching. But my OCD will not allow me to end with just one question sitting in the chat. So can I just ask, in terms of a B2B, B2C sort of shift, does the benefits of omnichannel marketing stay the same for both?
I don't think we've seen it take off in as big a way as B2B, obviously, because I still think there is this, kind of need for people to kind of keep within this professional realm. But I did mention in my presentation that there are e-com platforms out there and other tech providers out there that do provide push notifications, and they do provide apps and things to use, because for things like business critical messages and things that are really, really important, if you miss an email, that can have a really lasting impact on that person. So again, not many people are doing it, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't work. It just means I don't think people have been brave enough to sort of push the boundaries of that yet. But also, again, it's just about, think about what you would like to see as a B2B brand, and think about how you engage, but think about what you'd be comfortable with, receiving from another business, brand itself. We send SMS for events and things that are coming up. We send emails, obviously, it's the bread and butter of what we do. We don't have an app, but I've seen, like I said, I think apps for business critical messages, can be really, really effective. We do have live chat, obviously, for a support function, but also during the sales process. So, there are various different channels that you can use from B2B.
I think just from a personal point of view as well, you see it. I've seen it in my time, where I'm fairly young, but the business world seems to lag behind by a few years anyway. If it's adoption on social media, I remember a time on Facebook, there was no businesses on Facebook. And then all of a sudden, businesses are realizing that there's huge power there, and they're then starting to shift over. So maybe over the coming years, what you're saying, that gap starts to close, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. Just think about where are your consumers? Where are they hiding? Where are they sitting? Where are they playing around?
Hi everyone, thanks for watching another recording from Marketing Showcase Online. I hope you enjoyed it. Just to let you know, we've got all of the recordings uploaded to our brand new YouTube channel, so go over there and check it out if you want some more great content. We run these events once every month, free of charge, so head over to our website to grab tickets for next month's event. I look forward to seeing you there.